Hey guys, it's Ethan with Trackstar Motorworks. Today we have a bit of a unique one on the dyno. This is a 1985 BMW 635 CSI. It doesn't have too many performance modifications. Intake exhaust, Chevy coil and plug, fuel pressure regulator, but it has an ECU Master computer controlling all of it, so definitely my favorite. We already had a little foray with this car and realized that we needed to change the trigger wheel to something for a more late model BMW, and that made the car act right for us. So the car made the drive here successfully on a base map that the owner and I kind of worked out, and so now it's on the dyno. We're gonna see what it does, and hopefully we get some good numbers out of it. And I am kind of seeing that in the VE shape, like I'm having to change it a little from what I would normally. So maybe we do have to go up just a tick from where it was at to gain stability. I don't. Yeah, go up a tiny bit from where it was already at.
Hey! That's definitely in the right direction.
Like it. So I'm pulling the spark plug out right now. Gonna get a check on how our ignition timing is looking. On this car we don't have any knock sensors, and because of the nature of the setup, I haven't really tuned this motor with that trigger wheel before. So the ignition timing desired is a little bit more of a, not to say mystery, but it takes a little bit more refinement and work than your average timing map. So we've started with the timing low, as I always do, and really kept it low, starting at mid-range and up to the high end. So now that I have the fueling pretty much dialed in, I want to get a look at the plug and see, it's making pretty good power right now. We may be in the ballpark on the timing, but I need to look at the plug and see, are we too far up? Are we too far down? Where we go from here. So, my guess at timing map is now being verified via spark plug. I'm not gonna lie, I got scared on the rev limiter there. I wasn't quite ready for that moment. It caught me off guard.
Hey, consistent. Same power level.
Yeah, I just gained a little bit more refinement in the tune. You can't always see what I did on those numbers right
Absolutely.
there. All right, so we just did 2 dyno runs with very few changes, other than I got harder on the throttle during that second run, and that's normal as I progress through the tune. We don't just jump on the dyno and go full throttle. That's how bad things happen. So I always do a build up. I think first runs were at 30%, then 50%, 60, 70. So these 2 runs, I think, were at 85 and then nearing 100%. We actually did more power on the lower throttle run. So the higher of those is the lower throttle run. The reason that happened is because as I got on the throttle harder, we ended up in different cells in the VE, not in the V table, in the ignition timing table, and those new cells had much less timing in them. So that tells me that those top end cells likely do not have enough timing. In fact, probably need significant timing added. because that should not be the case. That when I go harder on it, we get a power reduction. And so now also tied to that, now that I know where peak torque is happening on the car at 4,600, I've built a little bit of a valley into the timing map there at that 4,600 RPMs. Before, we just had kind of a soft timing map that was just linear, rising out. But like I said, now that I know where the peak torque is, I grabbed just that 4,600 and the columns right beside it, made a little depression there, and now I can go to the low end of the map and add timing, go to the high end of the map and add timing, and not touch that peak torque area for now until I kind of establish better and refine and understand what this car wants. Since the timing map, like I said earlier, is kind of not a well-published thing. I've not done hundreds of cars with this trigger wheel and this setup, you know. So anytime it's like this, got to be a little bit more careful and a little bit more smart about how you attack it.
Got you again.
Every time, man.
I don't think you're used to that red limiter being so low.
It shocked me again, bro.
It's not a K24.
Because I'm looking at everything and I'm like, everything looks good, everything looks good. I'm not expecting a stop yet, you know?
Well, it really didn't decrease too much there.
No, that's good. So that means that so if I saw the power go down a lot at peak torque right now, then that would tell me that I didn't necessarily need the depression and the numbers were already correct before I did the depression. So if I lowered them and it didn't really change it, then maybe they were already even slightly too high, which is doubtful, but I have a little bit more diag to do to figure that out and concrete it. But let's see what the shape looked like. So that was our absolute best for sure. And in fact, there in the low end, look at this part. I did do some refining there, and I also got on the throttle a bit harder earlier, but that's a good look right there. Here it looked the happiest that I've seen. Let's see what the number says. Yes.
Hey, there we go. Awesome.
I always like that moment where I'm like, I don't know yet for sure, but what I saw looked better, so
Yeah, that's good.
it feels good when I see the number. I don't know about that. That torque seems
A little.
well. No, I mean, I think it looks right. We transposed up a good bit by going to fourth gear.
What?
That was fourth.
300 foot-pounds of torque.
I mean, it looks right. Let's look at it here. Sometimes you get a different number here. What's the torque say there?
212.
Yeah, see, that makes more sense.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, okay, so we got some jitter on that here. Check, just leave it like that.
So that was the fourth gear run now.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fourth gear, and I think that's what he told me that he'd previously run in. So I know that we're good. I think, 20 horsepower up from what he'd previously done?
Yeah, something like that. 241 torque, 210 on that third run.
Yep.
Looks pretty good to me. All right, guys, well, that is going to finish it up for the BMW today. Ended up at a happy 210 wheel horsepower, 241 foot-pounds of torque. From the owner's previous dynos, I know that that's a good 20-plus horsepower up, and hopefully it's even more refined as far as drivability. We're about to pull it off the dyno and go check that out, but that's it for the video, and if you liked it, please hit the like, subscribe, and see you next time.